Welcome back to another Film Geek movie review. Today, after the old day job, I am off to check out the latest in the Mad Max franchise, Furiosa, a Mad Max Saga. This is the prequel to Mad Max Fury Road and tells the story of Furiosa and how she got to who she was in that film. I know I don't have the best opinion of prequels, but I'm really hoping that this one breaks the mold for me because it's not necessarily a prequel, it's more of a side story in the Mad Max franchise. And I don't know, maybe this character is going to be utilized a lot more coming up in the upcoming Mad Max films. I know that there is one in development right now, Mad Max The Wastelands or something like that. So maybe this film ties into all of that, give us a little bit more depth of the character Furiosa so we can move forward with this storyline. Who knows? Maybe. Well, you know what, guys? It's enough of me sitting here jibber-jabbing. First off, I got to get to the job, and then I am off to check out Furiosa, a Mad Max Saga. Welcome back, just getting home, and guys, while I did enjoy this film, I gotta admit, I was slightly disappointed. So let's get this started, shall we? We're gonna get things started with the negatives, then move into the positives to end the video on the ever so important high note. The first thing I want to address about this film is the runtime. This movie clocks in at about 2 hours and 28 minutes. Yes, it is almost 2.5 hours long, and I'm sorry guys, in my opinion, that's about 45 minutes too long for a movie such as this. The story itself is not that complicated, and it does not need that long of a runtime to actually get everything it needs across. This film, it also suffers from the same thing I always say about prequels, and that is when it doesn't bring anything new to the table whatsoever. It doesn't expand on the story, it doesn't give any more depth to a character that might be important, because honestly guys, the more I thought about it, I don't know how important Furiosa is going to be for the ongoing story of Mad Max. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe she'll pop up in the new film Wasteland and be a really important character moving forward. But it just seemed like her story was completed in Fury Road. And all this movie did was just kind of add a little bit to that. It didn't really expand that much to the character whatsoever. It didn't bring any information to light that we really needed to know about Furiosa or even the world of Mad Max. It just seemed like, hey, this is a neat idea. Look at this. It's got the cool stuff, doesn't it? This movie also just really moves along slowly. The entire first act of this film just seems like a slog. It feels so long and drawn out. Even with a runtime of 2 hours and 28 minutes, this film honestly felt like 3 hours. It felt like we were sitting there in that theater for a solid 3 hours because the first part of this movie just keeps droning on and on. And then finally, by the time we get to the second act, when Furiosa is in what I think is her early teens or maybe her late teens or something like that, then things really start to keep moving forward. The action starts to intensify. We actually get some action, let me put it to you that way, and things start to move right along. but it's not that complicated of a story, and it did not need that long runtime. This movie also, in my opinion, it does not have the fun, weird factor that I find in the other Mad Max films. The villain in this story, while Chris Hemsworth does a really good job, he just doesn't seem bigger than life. You know, you go back to Fury Road with Immortan Joe, that guy was something else, and it just feels like Chris Hemsworth's character, while again, I felt like Chris Hemsworth himself did a good job, he was just like a dude. That nothing else. He wasn't anything bigger than that. He wasn't scary or menacing or you know, you've got Joe with this weird breathing apparatus and all this wires and mesh and crap hanging all off of him. And Chris Hemsworth is, you know, he looks good without his shirt on. That's for dang sure. But that's pretty much it. There wasn't anything that set him aside as something really unique or different in this world. In fact, one of his second in command, in my opinion, kind of had a better look to him than he did. Now, other than that, though, I did find a lot of fun and enjoyment in this film. So let's get started in the positive, shall we? Now, when the action sequences do have, even though they're few and far between, they are outstanding and extremely well done. However, there were some moments with some wonky CGI, but a lot of the amazing driving special, or I should say practical special effects, all the stunts look amazing. And out there in that big, wide open desert, again, all of that stuff that you saw from Fury Road is back on display. The way this film is made, the way it's shot, all of that cinematography, all of that cool action sequences, everything is there when it is there, I should say. And when it is, it's great. It's fantastic, and it's what you want to see out of this movie. You just don't get a whole lot of it, and that's the unfortunate thing. This movie also has some really good acting. I did really enjoy Anya Taylor-Joy as Furiosa. I thought she did a great job. Chris Hemsworth also very solid as the villain. Even though the character himself was bland, Chris Hemsworth does his best that he possibly can to make this evil, menacing character actually evil and menacing. He doesn't come off as a sympathetic villain, which was nice. I like that. He was just a bad dude at his core. The world, the environment, it made him the way he was, and he was just going to take it out on whoever he wanted to. But as in, like, interesting for the, you know, the world Mad Max, he was just kind of run-of-the-mill. But other than that, guys, I would say that this is a solid film to get out and check out in theaters if you are a fan of the series. But if you're expecting Fury Road, I feel like you're going to be a little disappointed, such as myself. But like I said, still, good, solid movie. A lot of fun was had, just not as much as I was hoping for. So that's all I have for you today, guys. Thanks again for checking out the Film Geek. If you liked what you saw here today, go ahead and subscribe to the channel, ring that bell for notifications, and give me the old thumbs up so I know you like what you're seeing. And if there's one more thing you can do, folks, that is keep watching movies. You know I'm gonna.